What's up, everybody? Welcome into Real Talk Real Estate. I'm your host, Mark Cannon, realtor with my home group Real Estate and the owner of the Benchmark Real Estate team here in sunny Phoenix, Arizona. If you're here in Phoenix, you're going to feel what I'm saying right now is the weather has finally turned to nice. It's in the 70s. It's great. Hopefully this lasts for the next 5-6 months. I've been looking forward to it. We've had a hot summer. So for those of you that are here, enjoy this weather. But as always, guys, you can like, video, share, give me comments. I always appreciate feedback. Always trying to get better. And again, you can listen to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, watch it on YouTube or Spotify. Always appreciate those of you that are listening. A lot of you are my clients. So I appreciate you. If you're not one of my clients, I appreciate you as well and hope you will be one of my clients. So anyway, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about changing expectations. And this has kind of been in reality for me when I'm talking with people. And what am I referring to? Especially when you're selling a home. So one of the things that we have to kind of look at is history and what's been happening. And I do that a lot. But one of the things that we really need to look at is, from 2011, 2012, somewhere in that range. And for the next 11 years, we've had a run up in real estate. And I'm going to show a graph here. You can see it. This is a graph from Fred. It's Fred. It's not a person, but it's a website where they collect data and all this stuff. And this is showing the median sales price and how it's raised over time. And you can obviously see once we get to around 2020, 2021, it just jumps up, right? And that's obviously the massive run up we had. But people don't realize we've had a run up since like 2012. And so we've been running up for 11 years. Maybe 2011, maybe when it started. But for 11 years, the price you can see there has been increasing. And so it's one of those that people got so used to what has been happening. So think about it. When we've had that norm for 10, 11 years, people just expect that. So for instance, when I go on listing appointments now, people are like, oh yeah, my house should be gone in 3 weeks. And it's like, well, that may not be the case. And I always laugh because when I go on listing appointments, people will challenge me and stuff. And I'm like, all right, well, guys, I understand what you're saying, because they're like, well, we want to be able to sell the house fast. All right, well, then you're going to have to price it accordingly to get it to sell fast. Well, we don't want to do that. Okay, well, if you want to try and get as much value as possible, it's going to take longer. Days on market's way longer. So many people got used to 2020, 2021 when days on market was 7 days, 14 days. Days on market now is above 50 or 60, depending on what city you're in. So it's one of those, in some cities, you're over 90. So it depends on where you are. And so that's the thing is like, I just had a client, again, I'll be transparent. I had a client that fired me because they said, oh, the house hasn't sold fast enough. And I said, well, you chose to price the house a little higher than what I suggested. And they said, well, it doesn't matter. You didn't sell the house. And I said, well, I can't control the market where that house was right near all these new builds who are offering 3.99% interest rates. It's going to be hard to compete with when you're charging more than that. So it's one of those that some people think, oh, it should sell in this amount of time. But when days on market is, let's say it's 90 and you price the house too high, you're probably going to go past 90 because you priced the house too high. So it's one of those that there's a lot of different data that comes into it. So one of the things that I've been trying to go through with people, whether it's a buyer or a seller, is helping reset expectations. We can't keep thinking of real estate in the context of since 2015 to now, because people have thought, oh, the house is just going to sell like that. Here we go. And what are we seeing right now? Like right now, I'll show you, like we're almost at 22,000 homes on the market. We're over 21,000 now. Normal is 25,000 on the market. And we're gaining inventory. And the homes that are really struggling to sell are the homes that need a lot of work, right? So let's say you have a starter house that everything's original. Those homes, if you price them a little bit higher, let's say at the comp or something, they're probably going to sit because people don't want to do that work. They have more options now. The buyer's demand has dropped. They have more options from what they can choose from. So they're not going to choose a house like that unless it's priced a little bit lower than some of the others. So that's where people have to realize there is a strategy to pricing your home, because if you price it too high, your house is going to sit. When people have this many options, it's going to sit. People got so used to the past 11 years where I put my house on the market and it's gone within 2 weeks. It's gone within 3 weeks. Because there was so much demand. We don't have that right now. We're in a buyer's market for the most part here in most parts of Phoenix. Now, I always have to laugh because there's all these agents out there like, oh, seller's market in some areas. It's really not. It's a balanced market in some areas and it's a buyer's market in others. And it's one of those that with more inventory coming on, we're moving more towards a buyer's market. Now, that's for now. It's going to change. And I'm doing another video on I almost said expectations, on predictions, because no one can predict what's going to happen. We didn't expect interest rates to rise like they did. Now we're at 7% again. So there's so many different things when it comes to that. But the biggest thing we need to change is expectations. Is we have to understand that, yes, all sellers want to make as much money as possible, and that's great. And that's my job as a realtor, is make you as much money as possible. But if you have a time limit or a time frame, you may not want to price it higher because you may not be able to wait. So maybe you need to price it accordingly so that way the house goes faster. Because what we always talk about in real estate is chasing the market. Let's say you put your house on the market, it sits for 45 days, and then finally you make a price reduction. You wait another 45 days, you make another price. You're chasing the market because you were trying to get too much money. And so it's one of those that you don't want to be chasing the market. You want to, it depends on how many showings you're getting, what kind of feedback you're getting. If you're not really getting a whole lot of showings, you may be overpriced. Now, right now, it's hard because we're not getting a lot of showings depending on where you are, what price point you're at. Because right now, if you're below 500,000, you might get some more traffic than if you're over 500,000. Because over 500,000, just not as much traffic. So there's a lot of different things with that. If you guys have questions on this, I would love to talk with you about it. Because I'm here to help. I'm here to talk through what the best strategy is for you as an individual. Because there's no one answer for everybody. Some people ask me, should I buy right now? Depends on your situation. Should I sell right now? Depends on your situation. Like I just sent some stuff to some of my clients where they were asking about, hey, what's my house worth? Should I sell it? And I'm like, hey, you don't really have a ton of equity. I don't know that you should sell because I'm not just about a sale. I'm about the relationship. I put the relationship before everything else because I work through real estate through relationships. That's my motto. That's what I do. So I would love to help you. My information is below. If you have questions, reach out to me. I would love to connect with you. I'd love to just talk with you and strategize through everything with you. And yeah, guys, you've been listening to Real Talk Real Estate. I'll catch you next time.